Happy Friday, April 11th, 2025. My name is Damon DeNoble. This is the H-2B update. So first of all, uh, we launched a newsletter this week. I'm really proud of the newsletter, at least the first edition. I haven't done a newsletter, since the 2010s, but it seems to be something that people are electing to, go into in lieu of social media. Everybody's scared of the big wide web, or maybe Google's too broken to use it. So people are back on newsletters. So I'm relaunching one. I used to run a newsletter with about 4,000 people way back in the day on Chinese markets. This one is focused on H-2B and foreign labor recruitment. There's a link at the bottom of this video where you too can sign up for that letter. Currently, we have about 600 subscribers. These are all the folks that have signed up for different H-2B books over the years, folks on our H-2B channel. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, the H-2B newsletter, I encourage you to check out the link in the description and go watch it. And maybe you're watching this on LinkedIn, maybe you're watching it on YouTube. Either way, sign up. Every Monday, I'll be putting out new issues. Okay, what's going on in H-2B this week? What's going on in H-2B this week is that we are seeing processing pick up at Department of Labor and USCIS again. The big news is on the Department of Labor side, where May 15 applications, first actions have been coming in all week. I'm probably through about 60% of my May 15th starters. So these are folks that filed February 15th or later. And there is a returning worker allocation, special returning worker allocation for those workers. What are my tips? My tips are, whenever possible, recruit for 15 days and only 15 days, right? So remember, you have to recruit for 15 business days. That does not mean that this particular position that you're recruiting for has to work 7 days a week. It just means that your business has to be open 7 days a week. So you are in a race for these, additional 5,000 or so returning workers against people like me who are recruiting all 15 days, right? I'm counting Saturdays and Sundays for all my businesses because before they even start, I get them going for both Saturday and Sunday. And Yvette, I see your question there. I'll answer it here when I'm done. I promise. So that's the big story. May 15th is starting. USCIS side, we are seeing applications right now that are being processed. If we are seeing receipts come in as laid out as about April 8th. Okay, so if you haven't received a receipt and your FedEx or your courier or whatever shows that it arrived April 8th or earlier, and you haven't seen your check cashed, you probably have a rejection on the way. I received several such questions. Okay, so for example, this one. So Vet says, hey, USCIS Service Center arrived March 31st. Is this normal? It's not normal. You have to check if that, like anybody in this situation, whether your check has been cashed. If it hasn't been cashed, then you're probably looking at a rejection, and you might want to get an application overnight right away. Sometimes if you send in a premium application, so 907 with your I-129, maybe just the 907 got rejected. You didn't get that e-receipt. Okay. And that might be what's happening. I can tell you that my physical receipts from that day, many of them haven't still arrived, but I've gotten all my e-receipts for my 907 applications, and all of my checks for those applications have been cashed. So Yvette and others in this position, if you got something in March 31st, but really through April 8th, your check should already be cashed. You should be getting or you should be getting an e-receipt. If you don't have a physical receipt by now, that's okay. Like if you just did non-premium processing, but absolutely those are getting cashed. And yeah, it was a 907. Yeah. So what I would check of that, again, this is common scenario. Maybe the 907 got rejected. I would check your scan to see everything's properly signed. But you should have gotten that back by now for sure. They get those back within a couple of days. Okay. The other thing that's happening is USCIS continues to process things. Be aware, everything's being sent to the Texas Service Center. They are still now forwarding to California Service Center, Vermont Service Center, which I'm not quite sure how that works, but that's where our approvals are coming from. I'm seeing on premium processing about a 6 day, so just 6 day, not 6 business day gap between when I get my e-receipt on USCIS and I get my approval. My e-receipts, they came in on April 4th, have already gotten approved. That's just one example. So I think probably USCIS is going to say that the H-2B cap has been reached at some point this week. Maybe it's Monday, maybe it's Tuesday, maybe it's Wednesday, but we'll see. We're still not sure. I'm guessing that the cap was reached around the 7th or the 8th. Okay, so we'll see. what else is going on? There was a big piece of news. So there's a big piece of news that kind of you might have missed. But President Trump was being interviewed about something, and he had this discussion on H-2A workers, agricultural workers, and H-2B workers working in hotels. And he said, I'm loosely quoting here, but essentially, enforcement actions at hotels and at farms are going to be curtailed. They're going to be pulled back because we understand that those workers are critical for the U.S. economy. So I don't want to read too much into it, but to me, this, if you've read the newsletter, you know how I feel about this. But this is one more information point in how President Trump feels about the H-2B program. Specifically, he seems to support it, which is why, if you read the newsletter, we saw this returning worker allocation, why I think the H-2 program is relatively safe compared to other programs under the umbrella of USCIS. If you haven't seen that news, check it out. There is a bit where, and I'll include it in the newsletter, which will go out Monday, which kind of adds credence to the fact that the H-2B program is protected. The other thing, a lot of workers, right? A lot of transfer workers that are, starting work. So they had work that maybe goes through April or May. I get a lot of this question. So there is something called the 60-day transfer rule. And if we go, I'm going to put this up on screen. This is called USCIS 7.7. Okay. So if there's something called USCIS 7.7, okay, and USCIS 7.7 is just the official extension of stay kind of policy of the for the program. So if I add it to the stage here, okay, you can see that here, this is the portability requirement, okay? So this is the portability requirement. So if you're getting just an extension with the same employer, just know that you get an automatic 240-day extension as soon as the extension's filed. If you're switching employers, okay, if you're switching employers, you get up to 60 days of work as soon as your receipt is gotten by that new employer, and that's even before an approval. So in other words, you're at employer A. Employer B puts an I-129. They don't use premium processing. As soon as that I-129 is receipted, you can start working there. You can start porting over, okay? You can start porting over. So this is USCIS 7.7 extensions of stay. Just Google USCIS 7.7, you will see it. I get that question a lot, so I thought that would be helpful. I got a call this week from an H-2B worker, so this is another issue. The H-2B worker said, hey, am I supposed to, is the employer supposed to pay for my travel? I still haven't gotten paid for my travel, like 6 months later. Just a reminder, employers, in the first week, you're supposed to reimburse for all travel, and if you don't, you could leave yourself open to like treble damages, right? If those workers decide to whistleblow on you. So just if you're an employer that hasn't paid your travel fees, please do that. If you're a worker that hasn't had your travel fees paid, please let them know that they're supposed to. That's one of the, main things. Okay. So Monday, I will send out a newsletter, kind of giving updates. These videos are meant to just give you kind of a quick update on what's happening. The big headline news today is May 15th, employers, filers, your applications are getting processed. USCIS is still moving full steam ahead. And if anybody has any other questions, now's your time. There's 9 of you watching. Does anybody else have a question? Yvette asked a question. Anybody else? Give it 30 more seconds. Okay. 10 more seconds. Nobody? Okay, cool. Thanks for watching these quick updates. I appreciate you being on the channel. Please share this. Please sign up for the newsletter. I'd love to see you on it. And then if you think anybody will be helped by this resource, this channel, this newsletter, let them know. Frontier Labor, we're always open for business, especially in H-2Bs. Take care.